On the flight of 737 MAX crash, we lost 5 of our family members. We had our mom, Ann Karanja, our dear sister, Caroline Karanja, her 3 kids, Ryan Joroge, Kelly Wanjiku, and Ruby Wangoi. Not like there is a manual of how you need to react, you're just there. It's like motionless. You just feel infuriated by anyone and everyone at that point. I remember the Boeing company blaming what they call the foreign pilots and deflecting blame to them, saying they are the cause.
All of us at Boeing are deeply sorry for the loss of life in the Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 and Lion Air Flight 610 accidents.
Boeing CEO Dennis Muhlenberg latched onto findings that inexperience and lack of training were part of a chain of events that led to the crashes. It was a controversial position.
Understand that these airplanes are flown in the hands of pilots, and in some cases our system safety analysis includes not only the engineering design, but also the actions that pilots would take as part of a failure scenario. Right?
Boeing's contention from the beginning was that even though the pilots did not know that MCAS existed, that they did not need to know that.
And in some cases, those procedures were not completely followed. So
Boeing believed that the pilots should have been able to realize that it was very similar to a runaway stabilizer situation.
Runaway stabilizer is an aviation term for a malfunctioning stabilizer. After the Lion Air crash, Boeing had issued a directive to pilots to be aware of this possibility and told them what to do if it happened.
When that part of the tail was not acting the way that it should be, you take manual control of it.
The pilots could have stopped their roller coaster ride by turning these 2 switches off.
To shut off power to the stabilizer, you stop it from moving on its own. And then you start cranking a wheel in the cockpit that literally will manually move the stabilizer back to where you want it to move.
The issue was, were there things happening inside the cockpit that might have made that harder to do? That's what we were asking.
When we finally got the preliminary black box data from the Ethiopian crash, we called up Dennis Tazier, an American Airlines 737 pilot, and sent him the data, and we read through it together.
My mission was to provide them, I'm in the cockpit, I see what's happening now. So we walked through each line, and I had no idea what was in it. I knew that the crew had an experienced captain and a lesser experienced first officer.
We go second by second through the few minutes of this flight.
Going through the steps that the pilots had taken and saying, yep, I would have done that. Yep, I would have done that.
And as soon as they lifted off the ground, all these different alerts started popping up. The airspeed was unreliable, the altitude was showing unreliable. There were alerts related to that. But they bring the gear up and they continue to climb out.
2 minutes into the flight, based on faulty data from the AOA sensor, MCAS kicked in and began pushing the nose down.
Don't think.
And I have very clear memory of noting a time mark where the first officer is quoted as saying, stab, trim, cutout switches, which takes the weapon away from MCAS, which is what Boeing told us to do. And I have to confess, I probably swore. I said, the kid got it right. That kid got it right.
What had happened was the pilots did do what they were supposed to do. They had cut the electricity off.
Don't think.
They hit these switches and they tried to take manual control.
The first officer is reaching to this large wheel on his left, and that's the manual trim wheel, and trying to turn it. It's like lifting up a 10-ton bucket of cement out of a deep well.
problem was, at that point, the plane was going so fast that even after they took manual control, they could not physically get the plane to right itself. They shouldn't have been going that fast.
Too low, terrain.
And they're continuing to accelerate towards the ground. The ground is approaching them.
Then, with no apparent recourse, the pilots reached for the stabilizer switches.
I'm yelling into the cockpit. Don't do that. But I don't know what they're facing.
Caution, terrain.
MCAS was reactivated.
MCAS says, hey, I'm back on. Here we go. Zzz. And now the airplane is in near full nose down trim, and you can pull back forever. And there's not enough metal in the back of the airplane to make that airplane come up to a nose up.
Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Pull up.